Welcome to the Cornerstone Gundog Academy Podcast. I'm so excited that you're here, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really excited about this episode in particular because I went back through the archives and I was just looking through everything, and then I saw a blog. Well, it started out as an email. I wrote an email that was about the 5 things I learned training my first retriever. Actually ended up turning that into a blog, and I feel like it's been a very valuable thing for people. I've had a lot of feedback on it. A lot of people have told me, hey, that was so helpful. Thank you so much for writing it. So I thought, well, really, we should turn this into a podcast, and I'm going to add some new flares to it. I've had, since I've written this, it's been a while. The blog was published in 2019, so as of recording this, we're in 2025, and there's been some more context I would like to add. Actually, all the lessons still hold true. It's still all principle based, but there's just some things that I want to add. So I'm really excited to share that with you and dive into really the 5 things that I learned training my first retriever and updated, so to speak, for the Cornerstone Gundog Academy Podcast. Before I do go any further, I do want to say, hey, look, if there's some episode topics that you're interested in, or if you've got questions, or if you just want to say, hey, I'm enjoying the show, please comment if you're watching this on YouTube, or leave us a review. If you do enjoy the content, what would be super helpful is if you could share this with someone. More important than liking, subscribing, and reviewing and all that is sharing it with someone, because you may help someone else as they're on the journey of training their retriever. So I would greatly appreciate that. Also, I want to shout out Retriever Training Supply. I'm wearing the Retriever Training Supply hoodie. And, I really love about Retriever Training Supply that it's about the moments. It's about building unforgettable moments, not just with your retriever, but with your family. When, really getting a dog is not just an individual thing. It's a family thing. It's, whether you've got kids, whether you're single, whatever, it's still part of the family. People, you've got friends that you're going to be hanging out with, and your dog's going to be a part of that. And I love how Retriever Training Supply supports that. And that's what they're after, giving, really providing you solid gear so that you can spend more time hanging out, making memories, and having a good experience, and really just having the full joy of a great retriever. It's really cool. Also, I want to shout out the Cornerstone Gundog Academy courses and the community. If you're on the journey of training a retriever and you really are just struggling with it, I've talked to people that they've tried to take a stab at it online. They've tried to do it by themselves, but if you feel that you're just wandering in the dark and you would like to shed some light on that, and you would like to really have a clear path forward and stop wandering around in the dark, you can check out cornerstonegundogacademy.com and look at the online courses. Find one that suits you based on your goals, sign up, and it will take you through step by step on the journey and help you learn to train your retriever with confidence. Speaking of training your retriever with confidence, I hope this podcast is going to help you with that, specifically this episode. And so I'm going to share with you the 5 things I learned training my first retriever, but I'm going to give you some updates. In fact, I want to give you a bonus lesson. This is just something that, as time goes on and I talk to more people, and I've experienced it quite a few times myself, I think this is going to be a really solid lesson for you. And really, I would say this is lesson number 1. And it's kind of a 2-part lesson. But the hardest moment you will ever face with your retriever is not the challenges you face. It's not the moments when you feel that you're not getting the breakthrough you want. It's not the moments that that things aren't going well. The hardest moment with your retriever is the last day you get to spend with them. 100%. That's the hardest part. It's not those hard days. That's the hardest part. I've been with my dogs as they've passed, and that's hard. It makes me sad if I think about it, but I want to pull from it a deeper lesson from that. It's not just that that's the hardest part. What does that teach us? Well, that teaches us that we need to value every moment. Don't take time for granted. Make every moment count, and enjoy the process along the way. And that really leads us back to the very first point that I ever actually wrote on this blog that I wrote, which is that it's not going to happen in a day, right? You're not going to train your dog in a day or in a week or really even a couple or so months. It's going to take time to get your dog to where you want it to be. And if I had to update this blog and this message that I'm teaching here, what I would really say is, hey, it's not about the destination of, okay, I've trained my dog, checking it off the box. The destination is the journey. It's not some outcome where you've got a finished dog. I hear that all the time. Well, I've got this finished dog. There's no such thing as a finished dog. We call it fully trained at Cornerstone because you're either teaching or you're maintaining skills. There is, or if you're not maintaining skills, then regression is happening. So it's really about this full life cycle of teach your dog, instruct your dog, develop your dog, and then maintain those skill sets. That's why we call it a fully trained dog. So Realize it's not going to happen in a day. It's going to take some time. And so that shifts your mindset when you realize, okay, if I'm teaching, this is it. This is what I set out to do. Fantastic. Obviously, we want to accomplish. We want to get our dogs to different levels. We want to feel the accomplishment of training our dogs, and that will come with time. But if your focus is on just checking off the box saying, all right, this is done, I can promise you're missing out on some things that really just some connection that you could have with your dog, and you're missing out on some opportunities to really learn from your dog and to help your dog grow. So just that subtle shift in mindset really goes a long way to this is the moment. I'm not saying be complacent. Yes, aspire for greater levels with your dog, but also enjoy the moment. Don't take your time for granted, right? The hardest moment is the last moment we have with our dog. So, and then you're left with their memories. So make sure that we don't take our time for granted. We enjoy and we embrace every moment. And then also realize the first official lesson, if you read the blog, is it's not going to happen in a day. You're not going to conquer Rome in a day. It's a process. It's a journey. But the cool thing about that journey is you're going to learn things along the way. Lesson number 2, or the official lesson number 2, is success is in your mindset. Really, I was having a conversation with my dad recently about this, and we were just talking about retriever training as a whole, or really business and everything that we do in life. Mindset is everything. How you think influences the outcome. Proverb says, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is. One of the sayings my dad has always said, and I really like it, especially as I was a little kid and he was helping me course correct my attitude, is your attitude determines your altitude. You pilots out there will appreciate that. But in reality, how you think 100% is going to influence what you experience. And kind of diving in a little deeper, if you think about the moments that are hard, if our mindset is thinking, well, this is impossible, or maybe you're looking at the training journey of a dog as a whole and you're writing yourself off, I could never train my dog to that level. That's just too mind-blowing to understand. Well, the first thing to do is shift your mindset. It's not that it's too overwhelming, because none of that really matters right now. All that matters is your next step. What is put one foot in front of the other? If you're going to climb a mountain, it's one step, one handhold at a time. If you're going to run a marathon, it's 1 mile at a time. It's one step at a time. If you're going to get fit, if you're going to exercise, it's one step at a time. I was working out with my buddy, and I do a little bit of working out, but my buddy, he's pretty fit. Shout out to you, Clay. He actually is a former strength and conditioning coach, and I went out and worked out with him, and he put me through the ringer. And what was funny is we did the workout, and he's okay, the workout's not done yet. We're going to do one more thing, and we went through the circuit, and he wrote this just elaborate circuit. Probably not to him, but to me, with my current fitness level and where I was at, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to accomplish this. My legs are already toast. I'm already tired. And so we get into it, and he hits the start, and we just start going. And I was battling, am I going to quit here? And I literally didn't think I could do it. Or am I going to keep going? And then I just shifted my mindset to, okay, I'm just going to focus on this next rep. I'm going to focus on the next one. I'm not going to try to worry about all the reps I've got to do. I'm going to focus on the next one. And that is the same thing when it comes to training our dog. If you start to think too much about the bigger picture, it is important to have your end goal, your vision in mind. But if you start thinking about every step along the way, overwhelm will set in, and you have a choice to make. Are you going to be overwhelmed? Or are you going to shift your mindset? Same thing as if you face a problem. Are you going to quit? Or are you going to make a change? Are you going to believe that it's possible? Are you going to have that solid mindset? And let me go ahead and say this. This is why there is, honestly, in my opinion, if I've heard people say, I'm comparing a couple of options out there, Cornerstone, and the other options. There is no other option. And the reason is Cornerstone does all of that for you. The idea of, hey, you're focusing on that next rep in front of you, that next step. Don't worry about the whole bigger picture. Those that have used Cornerstone, if you focus on the next day of training, the next rep of training, and that you just put your head down and you go to work, you will look up one day as you've gone through the course and you're like, oh, wow, I've got a really good dog. I was on a chapter call the other night with the Seattle chapter, and it was awesome. But I was hearing everybody talk about the dogs in there, and it was really awesome. Ron, who's kind of heading that chapter up, he's I think on his second dog with Cornerstone, and it's been going well with him. And then Peter had mentioned that he had actually made it through all 56 weeks with his dog, and his dog was just blowing him away. He was really amazed that he had made it there. And there was others on the chapter that were talking about parts of the journey that they were at and some of the challenges that they were having. It was really cool to see how the community was rallying around and helping everybody see like, hey, it's just that one next step in front of you. But that's why I believe that the community, first of all, is another reason there's no other option. If you're going to train your dog and you're thinking about doing it yourself, there is not another option. Cornerstone is the option because of these reasons: the community, lifetime access. But not only that, you've got the everything laid out for you, the next step in front of you. All you have to do is follow the videos, implement the videos, take the next step. And that's that mindset when you feel like it's impossible, if you're facing those challenges. Look, if you change your mindset and you believe that it's possible and you just continue on, you can make it happen. You can go a long way. Kind of going back to the blog, let me pull out a couple of other little tidbits that I wrote from there. That was a side note that is relevant, I believe, as far as your mindset goes. It's believe it's possible and just set your mind on the next step in front of you. And then one day you're going to look up and you'll have a solid dog. So when things do go wrong, it can be easy in the moment. And honestly, you may not be able to correct your mindset in the moment. I mean, reality is, if I'm being honest with you, I don't. If I get frustrated, it's going to be hard to switch it. So I have to create a little bit of separation. So what I would encourage you to do is pause and separate, and then evaluate the situation, think about it, and then respond instead of reacting. That's going to go a long way for you when you shift your mindset, and that's going to help you be successful with your retriever. While we're on the topic of challenges and mindset, let's go into lesson 3 because it fits right in. Don't be afraid to give your dog a break, or honestly, don't be afraid to quit yourself. The thing is, if you quit, just quit for a time and then get back on and keep going. It's okay to temporarily quit, but don't truly quit, right? It's okay to stop. It's okay to take a break. And oftentimes our dogs need it. This break is a good reset. For our dogs, it's a good reset for us. And it's a really wonderful opportunity to just create some space to think about some things and then get back into the fight and get back training your dog. As you're going through training, if you've had like 1 or 2 off sessions, like where you're hitting a brick wall and things are really going south, that's fine. Honestly, in that case, I keep training my dog, and I would recommend keep training your dog. But if you start having 2, 3, 4 days in a row where you're just hitting brick walls or things just aren't going well, or I would call it an off session, a failure session, just things are not going well, it's 100% time for a break. Preventatively speaking, if you can actually incorporate breaks in, before that ever happens, that's even better. And that's why in the Cornerstone courses, we recommend training about 4 days a week, whether it's every other day or actually 4 days a week. Having that rest period, it gives the dog time to reset, recharge. It gives you time to reset and recharge and to sharpen the axe, so to speak. Just because you're taking a break and you're not training doesn't mean you can't be learning. You can be listening to podcasts like you're doing now, or watching this on YouTube. You can be watching more videos, or you're studying your lesson plan, or reviewing your notes, or asking questions in a community. You can be reaching out for help. Definitely sharpen your axe. And so that's what I would say is, with that downtime, when you take a break, sharpen the axe, get a little bit better, sharpen your skills, learn a little more. Help yourself become better. If you're a Cornerstone member, review the How Your Dog Learns module, polishing your skills as a handler module. I would recommend doing that on a regular basis. I can't tell you how many, if you watch that on a regular basis, how much that's going to help you. Like, it's just tremendous, because it's focusing on things that, number 1, the science behind how your dog learns, and 2, polishing your skills as a handler, how to adjust as you go along the journey. Huge thing to do. Sharpen the axe, and don't be afraid to take a break. So that's my recommendation. When you are taking a break, sharpen the axe, get a little bit better. Now for your dog, let your dog be a dog. Let it have some fun. Let it play. Let it be a pup. Let it hang out in the home. Let it rest. That's going to go a long way and help you on your journey. Lesson number 4 is have a go-to drill. Now, this may change along the journey of training your dog, and depending on whether your dog is getting closer to fully trained or it's a young puppy, but a go-to drill is something really that is just that you and your dog can do, that you can perform, and you can get success at. This is kind of a secret trick of the trade, so to speak, that I would imagine trainers use. I've used as a trainer. I know many trainers that have used this, but when you're going through the process, especially when you're teaching new skills and things do start to go a little bit sideways, what I like to do personally is I'll pull the card out of the hat, so to speak. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my go-to drill, get success. Success is in the win, as we say in Cornerstone. And so if you're training your dog and things go south, go to the go-to drill. Stop what you're doing immediately. Don't go against the grain too much. There's a precedence and a time for that, and we teach you how to do that in the courses. But we don't have time to go into that here now. But if you're running into a brick wall and like you're just not making headway, go to the go-to drill. Go back and have some fun, get some success. Whatever that go-to drill is for you and your dog. If you got a young puppy, maybe it's some fun bumpers or a little tennis ball throw, or maybe it's just going on a walk and letting your dog run and then recall it to you. If you've got an older dog and maybe you're working on more technical skills, maybe it's going back to a simpler retrieving drill, whether it's aligning memory or fun bumpers, or maybe it's a whistle stop drill. Do something that engages your dog and locks their attention in with you and builds that connection back. It's easy as we go along the journey to get so focused on the destination that we start forcing our agenda on the dog. But as you've probably figured out, or you will figure out, that this isn't like a tool. This dog is a living creature. And it's like people and living creatures. Like sometimes it's not going to go the way you want it to go. And so pivoting is going to go a long way for you. And that's where that go-to drill comes in. And why I'm tying it back to locking in with your dog is if your dog's not enjoying what you're doing, then go do something that they are enjoying, and that's going to reinvigorate your dog and get them excited. Think about it. Put yourself in your dog's shoes. I was going to say shoes. They don't really have shoes, but put yourself in your dog's position and think about that. If you're going through something and it's becoming a drudgery, it's not very fun, how would you feel? What would you like to do? Well, let's go shift and do something else and have some fun. I think you would probably enjoy that. Lesson number 5, and this is the most important, don't go at this journey alone. Get connected with others and ask questions. I have found that those that are connected in community and are asking questions are those that grow the best. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And look, I understand, if you are afraid, right? Because if you're on Facebook or you've been on, internet land, it's harsh out there. And I honestly talk about this a pretty good bit. But the reason I talk about this is because the contrast of the Cornerstone Gundog Academy community. The people are awesome. Like, it's a true community, and we call it the CGA family. It really is like a family. We're here to help each other. There's just this sense of camaraderie and really just trust that you have in the Cornerstone family, because you know that people there have your back and they're there to help you along the way. But no matter where you're at in the journey, don't be afraid to ask for questions. Ask your questions. There's really no stupid questions. And if a question really probably shouldn't be being asked, that's okay. Because if you're in this headspace and you ask that question, then you're going to get some feedback and it's going to help shift the way you think, or at least give you more perspective. Because at the end of the day, this is about you reaching out and asking. It's also being humble enough to say, hey, correct me. Hey, if you see something, please help me, right? We got to help each other out. But I would also, the biggest thing, I'm going to put that back on you, is don't wait on people just to tell you. Like, ask for help. Like, say, hey, what do you think about this? And when you ask, be real, like be ready to receive feedback. Now, if you're posting something asking what you think about this, but you're proud of it, maybe consider changing that post altogether and just say, hey, I'm proud of what my dog's doing right here. That's okay to be proud of something if they're not up to the standard that that you're training for, but you're still proud of it. Be proud of it. That's an awesome thing. But the biggest thing here is community and asking questions. And again, I love shouting out the Cornerstone Gundog Academy community because the people are amazing. The chapters are amazing. As I've been on these chapter calls, it's just been incredible to hear with people at different levels and different stages as they're sharing, helping give feedback. It's really just people rallying around each other and supporting each other along the journey. So those are the 5 lessons that I learned training my first retriever, and this is an updated version with a couple of little tweaks in there. And I hope you've enjoyed this. As you're listening to this, or if you're watching this on YouTube, or maybe you're listening as you're going down the road, at some point, head on over to YouTube and check this out. I'd love for you to put in the comments maybe one of the biggest lessons you've learned training your dog. Maybe it's different than what I've shared here, or maybe it lines up with what I've shared here. Whatever it is, I would love to hear from you. Let me know what one of the greatest lessons, even if you've just started training a dog, there's a lesson you've learned. Let us know the greatest lesson you have learned so far in the comment section. You can do that below. Also, if you're enjoying this episode or you've enjoyed this podcast thus far, I would appreciate it if you would consider liking, subscribing on the YouTube channel, or leaving a review on Spotify or Apple. And most importantly, share this with others, especially if someone is getting a dog, or maybe someone already has a dog. This would be a great podcast to share with them. No matter what level on the journey, it's going to refresh and bring back memories stories, especially if you're later in the journey or if you're new to the journey. This is going to be some sound advice that you can really follow through on and really ultimately help you reflect on your journey. And just remember, make the most of every moment. Don't take time for granted. And remember, the destination, the end goal is not a finished dog. The end goal is to train your dog, to maintain your dog, and to have connection with community. We'll see you in the next episode.